What up, Laker Nation? It's your boy DTLF with another pregame. As today we get set to face the Pacers at the top of the hour at 3 p.m. Pacific time. Hopefully everybody's doing good, man. We're ready for a bounce back. Looks like there will be quick little update, guys. Looks like no Danny Green. He's out with some sort of hip injury. I just think he's out resting. But we do get Alex Caruso and LeBron James potentially back. So AC Fresh is going to start today in place of Danny Green. And LeBron James, nothing confirmed as of yet officially, but most likely to come back today. So it'll be interesting to see what happens with Kuz. Will Frank Vogel keep the same lineup with Kuzma in it, or will he switch it up and go back to JaVale? I'm very curious with that. We know, obviously, Danny Green is out. And so, AC Fresh, Alex Caruso is going to start. But as far as the start, here it is. Here it is. Oh, nope, nothing yet. Nothing official yet. All right. So most likely it'll be Alex Caruso, LeBron James, Kyle Kuzma, Anthony Davis, and who am I missing here? KCP. That's probably going to be the starting lineup, most likely. So how y'all doing, man? How y'all doing? I'm doing good. I'm doing good, guys. Welcome live. Welcome. He said, Dan, Lakers, man, ready for the playoffs, bro? Absolutely. But we do have to fine-tune a couple of things, and I look forward to this being taken as a serious game. I don't want to hear no more excuses talking about we're tanking, we're just chilling till playoff time. I don't want to hear none of that. We better fine-tune ourselves, hit our shots, play better defense in the perimeter, communicate, and just play smart. Dan, did you see PG and Bev disrespect Dame? Yes. And did you see the clapback from Dame time? I love it, man. Damian Lillard, to me, is my favorite non-Laker, and I hope that one day he does become a Laker. But you got to love it. You got to love it. He's right. I mean, PG should not be talking. This man was traded and traded and traded again just because, he needed some extra help. So, obviously Russell Westbrook wasn't enough for him to even get past the first round. And obviously he's still butthurt from that series where, Damian ended him and Russell Westbrook's career in OKC. So you got to love it, man. You got to love what Damian Lillard does. He's a killer. And he's right. They ain't ready for the grind and they're bums. The only real team in LA is the Lakers. He knows what's up. Dan, do you think there's a possibility Dame ends up with the Lakers in the future? There's always a possibility. Always. When you're the Lakers, you see what we can get. We can basically land anybody who's willing to come here. But do I think it's likely? Not likely. Portland hates the Lakers, and I never see a scenario where they trade him here unless his contract runs up and he signs here as a free agent. Hey, what's up, Alfred? He said, how are you today? Let's hope that the Lakers win today. Always enjoy listening to your stream. Thank you, Alfred. I appreciate you, man. Always enjoy your commentary as well. I'm doing good. I'm doing good, man. Got off of work, early morning, ate some cookies. Just got ready, man. Got ready for this live stream and for the game. So I'm excited to see how the Lakers bounce back, and also I want them to take this game very serious, very, very serious. So Dan, is this a serious game? Hit threes, defend, bench, show up, Laker Nation. Yes, this is a serious game, Sonny. The clapback was insane. Yeah, that's what he does, man. This is Dame time, baby. Remember how he waved at Paul George? That's the same way we're going to wave at them when they exit in the first or second round. Watch. Dan, what do you think about Costa's game? I think he hasn't gotten a proper opportunity. He's been in different situations. If he ever got an opportunity, I think he can make a mark. I mean, Thomas Bryant, look what he's doing for the Washington Wizards. I always told you guys, I don't know if you remember a couple years back, I said, I think for some reason this guy's going to be a secret weapon. Reminds me of Clint Capella, but with a better jump shot. And that's exactly what he has become for Washington. So I don't want to call myself a guru or, toot my own horn here. But I'm going to tell you guys this. I've been right about a lot of the young talent. And that kid right there is no joke. Now, Costas, the thing about him is he's obviously hasn't got the PT everywhere he's gone. He's been in the G League for the most part and just getting spare minutes here and there. It's hard to develop under those circumstances because everything you do is scrutinized. But we'll see. We'll see what he turns out to. I definitely like his athleticism, his ability to run the floor. You can see that the apple doesn't fall far from the tree as far as athleticism goes. So, yeah. James said, thank you, bro. Appreciate you as always. He said, we need to stop these poor performances. Agreed. Tonight has to be taken serious. They cannot come out here and embarrass Laker Nation again. This would be, you know what they say, third time's a charm. So tonight we got to get back on track. Well, we screwed up the first night versus the Thunder, and then we definitely put up another blunder versus Houston Rockets. Third time's a charm. Tonight we come out ready for war, hopefully. What is the starting lineup? Let me see if anything is confirmed officially. Most of the time they do it last minute, but I know that Caruso is starting over Danny Green since Danny Green is out. But let me see here. Let me see if I can get you the starting lineup real quick. Good question, by the way. Not sure if they've if anybody can get. Oh, here it is. All right, Lakers starters: LeBron, Caruso, KCP, AD, and McGee. So I'm kind of surprised that after the great performance that Kyle Kuzma put up, he didn't get to start again. But again, he has to be flexible for whatever the coaching staff needs. We did miss a spark off the bench, so maybe that's why they sent him back. But I hope that eventually he starts because he did a great job in the starting lineup. He said, "Damn, the bum Clippers won." Yeah, but you know what? I'm not impressed. The Portland Trailblazers weren't really on their game today. They turned the ball over too much. And obviously, the Clippers have nothing to lose. They're playing with no pressure, even though they didn't play Kawhi Leonard. So sometimes that happens. But I don't know. If you guys see the trend here in this bubble, and this is an encouraging sign for the Lakers, the only consistent teams in this bubble have been teams that are considered non-contenders. So that if that tells you anything, the teams that are already locking up their position are kind of taking it easy. Teams like the Bucks and the Lakers, they've been losing to teams they shouldn't have lost. So that's the only encouraging sign about this horrible start for the Lakers. Maybe they're saving it all for the playoffs. Hopefully that's correct. But if not, yeah, there's definitely some concerns. Now, the Clippers lost the other night to who? I forgot who they lost to, man. I don't watch their games like that. But they lost to the Suns, and then I forgot, did they lose again since then? I don't remember. But, they've lost games they shouldn't have lost either. So, every team that's considered a contender is losing. By the way, I want to say congratulations to LeBron James and Anthony Davis on being named finalists, one for MVP in LeBron and the other one for Defensive Player of the Year in AD. Well-deserved. Now, let's hope they both don't get, excluded here because we know that there's a lot of favoritism towards other teams and a lot of hate towards the Lakers. So as long as they don't botch both of those selections, at least one of them should get MVP or Defensive Player of the Year. I'd be super ecstatic if they both got it. Like if LeBron gets MVP and AD gets Defensive Player of the Year, I'd be so happy. But we all know that the chances of that happening are slim to none. As long as one of them gets it, I'll be happy. Now, LeBron deserves MVP and AD deserves Defensive Player of the Year. But again, as long as one gets it, I'm happy. Dan, I think we got a steal in Talon Horton Tucker. The kid's got talent. And remember what I told you guys last time before after the game, post game, I said the biggest winner is Talon Horton Tucker because I think he's winning. He's earning the coach's trust. And surely, as soon as I got off with you guys on the live stream, I read that coach said that the kid is really making a case for himself to be in the rotation in the playoffs. So that is the biggest win of these losses is that Talon Horton Tucker is making his mark. What's going on, Dan? Hopefully we showed more heart today. Let's go Lakers. Let's get it, Laker world. Yeah, man, we got to show what we're all about, why we're the best in the West, and tonight we got to come out and flex. Now, it's not yet confirmed officially if the Pacers are fully healthy, but most likely they said they are getting ready to go, and TJ Warren has been balling. So that's somebody we got to look out for. As always, Malcolm Brogdon is another guard that always kills us when we face him, and he's a very formidable guard, two-way player. Yeah, I have no idea why the Bucks let him go, but yep, we got to watch out for those two players tonight. Then I heard Giannis will win both MVP and Defensive Player of the Year. If that happens, Rody, I'm going to be very disappointed because he doesn't deserve Defensive Player of the Year for sure. And MVP, debatable, but I'm still leaning to LeBron. But obviously, it would show the league's true colors and how they favor every other team except the Lakers. We already get it from the officials, so I wouldn't be shocked. We know that the panelists, the media, they hate the Lakers, so they're going to vote however they see favorite, right? It's like a popularity contest sometimes, which is stupid. Kobe Bryant got robbed from like 2 regular season MVPs. Yes, Steve Nash was impressive, but he wasn't more impressive than Kobe, who was leading that bum team to the playoffs with Smush Parker and Kwame Brown. So, yeah. Dan, do you think we can get Damian? Again, y'all been asking this question, man. Right now, I'm not focused on trades at all. However, if there's one franchise that's been known, to pull blockbusters and all kinds of stuff, it's the Lakers. So regardless of whatever the haters say, where there's a will, there's a way. And we're going to concentrate on the haters later, in the words of the great Dr. Dre. He said Kobe should have had at least 3 to 4 MVPs. That's what I'm saying, Laker world. Like, my man got robbed. He was the best player of like a whole decade. Like, he literally controlled 10 years from the moment Shaq left, on out. So Even before that, I think he was already rising. So my man said, Dan, did you see Memphis got their first W? Yeah, that race for that A seed is basically between three teams that I see. The Spurs, because they're well disciplined and they're well coached. Obviously, the Portland Trailblazers, because they're on the rise, even though they lost today, and the Memphis Grizzlies. So those two are going to battle it out for the final seed, and we're going to see one of those. I'm thinking it's going to be Portland in the first round. Don't be surprised if Paul George switches teams again, runs away from the grind when he loses. That's why I never respect him as a player. Yeah, and you know what? Let me tell you something about Paul George, all right? Paul George started off as everybody's favorite player in Indiana. Like, even I used to like Paul George, Cali kid, supposedly Cali kid, but he's really from Palmdale. Yeah, he's still Cali, but he's not from LA. Cali kid came out, was athletic, was slighted by a couple of GMs in the first round. He got picked, late in the first round, like late in the lottery, like 10th pick or something like that. So a lot of teams passed on him. 6'8", 6'9" guy who can handle the ball, shoot. A lot of people compare him to T-Mac. I can see similar comparisons, but had T-Mac been healthy, he would have been a way better player. Like, he would have been up in the Kobe level type player. But that's besides the point. Paul George was everybody's favorite player. And then he started doing stupid stuff. Like, let's not forget that, he got traded to the OKC Thunder. And then he came out and said that he would have went to the Lakers, except they didn't trade for him. It's like, we tried, dummy. We tried. Don't try to blame us for whatever. And then he decided to re-sign with the Thunder. Stupid mistake number one. And then blaming the Lakers not manning up. Just completely lost respect from there. And then he was all here, all Brody this, Brody that, all this, man love, all this gayness between him and Russell Westbrook, which, by the way, if that's what you like, that's what you like. I don't judge you. But don't act like you wasn't on each other. And then all of a sudden, out of the blue, out of left field, we hear he gets traded to the Clippers. And then as the details start coming out, we hear that he requested the trade. It's like, wait a second. Weren't you just riding Russell Westbrook just a minute ago? Like, talking about Brody and we're going to win a championship here and blah, blah, blah. Then he comes to the Clippers, right, and says some stupid stuff, man. He comes over here and he's talking about, I grew up a Kobe fan, but now a Clipper fan. It's like, nobody was a Clipper fan. Still today, you have to wonder about those new Clipper fans, right? They're very suspect. Like, they came with Kawhi. They came over here. So it's like, okay. So now he's a liar, a pathological liar. And then he goes and just to put the cherry on top of his stupidity and says that the Clippers are going to win it for Kobe. My man's turning in his grave. And this man's over here talking smack, like putting just don't use my man's name in vain. Like, Kobe Bryant is a G, and he'll never want the Clippers to win anything. All right, period. Don't get it twisted. So it's like, I don't know what he's doing out here in LA. Seriously, he's ridiculous. Like, Paul George has just turned from fan favorite to ridiculous. Everybody praying for him when he broke his leg to everybody hoping he breaks another leg. No, I'm just playing. You never hope for that. That's really bad. But what I'm saying is, Paul George is really, I don't know, man. Like, he's polarizing. He's somebody that we loved at first, and I don't hate is a strong word, but screw it. I'm gonna go ahead and say it. I hate Paul George, man. I can't stand Paul George and Kawhi. Kawhi lost my respect because he chose the Clippers, number one. Like, that's the dumbest thing you could have done for your career. And number two, because he tried to throw some shade at LeBron, talking about this his city. Now it's like, stop it, Kawhi. You're shyer than a first grader. Like, just go stand in the corner over there, by yourself. That's what you did in elementary, bro. Stop it. And you can't run the city that's full of confidence, is full of exuberance, full of, you have to have some sort of swagger to run this city, man. LeBron got it. Kobe had it. Like, the best of the best have the keys to the city because they lead by example. They have great personality and they're entertaining. Kawhi is just good. Is he entertaining? Heck no. He got the stiffest robot-looking shots you ever seen. It don't even look like he raises his shoulders every time. It's like, how do you get your arms up but not your shoulders? I don't know. Ridiculous. I've been wondering stuff about Kawhi Leonard. And then on top of that, my man goes to the strip club and all this, and then and it's not really being a leader to his Clippers. And then he lost fully my respect, like completely lost my respect, right? With those commercials. Those commercials are just so disrespectful. It's like they really think they could take LA. And that's when I get really upset. Like, that's what I hate about the Clippers. They don't respect royalties. Like, y'all got to bow down to the Lakers. Y'all always going to live in our shadow no matter what, man. Y'all could win 10 championships. Guess what? We still got 16. Not saying they will. I doubt they'll ever win a championship here in the city of LA because they're cursed. But anyways, just had to get that off my chest. Why we dislike Kawhi Leonard and Paul George. Those two guys are just weird, man, and they kind of go together. You know, they're both weird and unpredictable. You just never know. He sabotaged our chances at free agents. I'm not worried about that because Rob Pelinka had a plan B, and so far it worked. Number one in the West. Hey, T, what up? She said, did you see the leaked video audio of someone in the Clippers section of the hotel getting clapped? No, I haven't. I have not. Oh, that's interesting. It was hilarious. I'm going to have to check that out. You might have to shoot it my way on Twitter. Dan, do you think Lakers win tonight? Absolutely. I think my team wins every night. That's just how I feel. I don't care about the last game. You know, when you're the Lakers and you got superstars, I expect my team to win every night, every single night. But that's just the cockiness and confidence and arrogance that comes with being a Laker fan, which is good. Could be bad sometimes, but for the most part, it's good. You got to believe in your team, man. Even if you're a fan of the Pelicans, you got to believe in your team. You're a fan of the New York Knicks. Even those fans show that you have to believe in your team every night. LeBron James and Danny Green because of injuries. My man said, who's out tonight? Who's out tonight? Well, last I heard was Danny Green. But I guess my man just updated. It said LBJ's going to be out tonight as well. Is he? Let me just double check my timeline, guys. Let me double check my timeline. Because I just came on here and I checked my timeline one more time. Okay, let's see. Is LBJ out? I thought he was in. Somebody said he was probable, but I'm not sure. I'm not exactly sure. Somebody update Laker Nation on that because my timeline's too loaded right now. He said the reason why Paul George didn't come to Lakers because he didn't want to play with LeBron, but he wanted to play with Kawhi. Yeah, okay. Like what a upgrade, right? Come on, man. I don't want to hear no excuses. The real reason Paul George didn't want to come to LA because he had his chance. He had his chance, man. Even before LeBron came, he had his chance. Was because he didn't want the pressure of playing under Kobe's shadow. He said it many times before. This is always going to be Kobe City. He knows, but. Yeah, he didn't want the pressure, man. Everybody knows that you have to have some cojones to play for the Lakers. You can't come in here weak as hell like Paul George. You know, you can't be called playoff P and then stink it up and then still think you're going to be good or the fans are going to love you if you come to play for Lakers. For the Clippers, they get whatever they take. You know, beggars can't be choosers. So at the end of the day, you know, if you drop 25 points a game in the playoffs but still lose and then you don't hit no clutch shots like he always does, they're still going to love you because they're irrelevant and all they ever want is the media to talk about them, especially Clipper fans. They're desperate for attention. If you notice one thing about Clipper fans, anytime they get attention is when they have our name in their mouth. So just try to ignore them, guys. Don't give them that attention. They'll deserve that. Black who? What did he say? What did he say? I'm trying to see what he said. Hold up. He said Katie is the GOAT. King James is Kyle James. Okay, that's not even funny. Like, hilarious. I just blocked him because he was corny. That's it. He's corny, man. He didn't even offend me. He's just corny. James Harden too. He said Clips just beat Portland without Kawhi. Lake Show need to show out tonight. That has nothing to do with it, Joven. Again, the pressure was on Portland to win that game. The pressure wasn't on the Clippers. The Clippers, I think the front office was trying to mail it in, but at the end of the day, you know, the players never tank. The front office could tank all they want, but they're probably pissed off that they won. But, you know, at the end of the day, like, players are going to play. He said, not everyone is meant to be a Laker. Absolutely not. Some guys just, I mean, they have thin skin and criticism gets to them. Look, LeBron James gets criticized more than any athlete in the NBA. Yep, that's true, T. That's absolutely true. She said, hilarious how Laker fans get so much hate. They hate us because they ain't us. We the greatest. We the best, man. And they can't even compete with us because we the kings of the West. Like, the Lakers are the winningest franchise from the 21st century. Like, I just feel like everything Boston won was in the 50s. Yeah, that's how I feel. Everything was black and white. Like, there was no black people in the NBA when they won their championship. That's how I feel like, other than Bill Russell and a couple others. But, like, the competition wasn't there yet. So, you know, it was a bunch of, you know, non-athletic players. And so, obviously, they were winning. They were strategic or whatever. It worked for them. However, the Lakers are the winningest franchise from when it matters, from the 80s all the way to now, to the present. So, we're the best. We are the best, and obviously that comes with a lot of hate. Anytime you're the best, everybody else is on your heels, just trying to get a little piece of that glory. Just like the Clippers. The Clippers are just trying to get a whiff. You know what I'm saying? Like, I bet you they pop champagne. Remember last year when they popped champagne because they made the playoffs? Yeah, I bet you they popped champagne when they got that fake ring, that little bubble ring. They probably thought it was a real one. So I'm saying, the Clippers just trying to get a little piece of the glory. Dan, do you think we can trade for Devin Booker? Again, I doubt it, simply because these teams hate us. We've put them out so many times and ended any sort of playoff hope they've ever had when they were successful, Portland included. So I doubt they trade. The only way I can see those players coming is through free agency. But who knows? Sometimes circumstances change. Like when Anthony Davis requested a trade strictly to the Lakers, like that's what helped them get here. I'm pretty sure other people would have traded for him had he not made it specific for the Lakers. So, yep. Only great players I know from the Celtics was Isaiah Thomas. That's funny. She's funny. No, they had a couple. They had a couple great ones, but they don't measure up to the new era Lakers. Like ever since the '80s, we've been Showtime. So they never knew how to evolve with the game. They're predominantly their era was predominantly white, and so I don't know if you noticed, Boston's still very racist. Like I went on Boston forums where they were calling Kyrie the N-word, like in the forum, talking about get off of our team, and then the N-word. It's like, wow, it's like he's your player. Respect at least your own players. If you're not going to respect the opponents, respect your own damn players. So that's why I have no respect for Boston. I know obviously not all the fans are like that, but the majority of them, man. And that's what I can't stand. And that's why I love LA, man. City of dreams, born and raised, because it's all about diversity down here, man. It's all about diversity. Like we are colorblind down here. We see no color. We all bleed red at the end of the day. And that's why we all say Black Lives Matters, because it does. That's pedestrian to people in Boston. They hear Black Lives Matters and they say some stupid shit like all life matters. They'll say something ridiculous like, look, listen, sit here. It's not your turn. Don't speak up just yet. So sometimes it's better. Like my mom always told me, sometimes it's better to keep your mouth shut if you got nothing good to say. And that definitely applies to Boston fans, because that's trash. Boston fans that open their mouth and talk racist stuff is like, bro, how can you even be watching an NBA that's predominantly black when you're racist? That makes no sense. But again, ignorance is bliss, and these people don't even know what the heck they want. They're like confused. They're like, okay, you want to support all kinds of races, or you want to be racist just when it's convenient to you? So that's why Black Lives Matter movement is important, because they're letting it be known that, hey, without us entertaining you, without us, being icons and moguls and promoting fashion, all you guys, everything you guys copy is off of us. So all we demand is respect and equality. And that's why I just don't understand. I normally don't get into politics, but I don't understand why the hate. It's like you hating, but you biting their style. So don't hate. If you're gonna, indulge in the good things, give credit where credit is due, and just spread love all around. There's plenty to go around. So again, LA, the best, man. Diversity. We see no color. There's a couple of ignorant, racist people here and there. Like I used to work in downtown Riverside. And let me tell you, one time I used to do marketing, right? I was going to work for a sports agency company. And I went into this lady's store. Obviously, we were, offering cruises and all kinds of stuff if they signed up with us. And so I went into this lady's store and she goes, because my partner was white and obviously I'm Hispanic. So she goes, excuse me, can you have him wait outside? Like she didn't even address me. She didn't want to look at me. She said, excuse me, can you have him wait outside? So I've been on both sides of the spectrum, guys. I've seen it from third person view, and I've been a part of racism, and it just doesn't feel good. It's just better just treat everybody the same, because you never know. What if her store was burning and I was the only one that was walking by and I see, that lady burning up. I could go out and pull her. I wouldn't even consider it. Like I wouldn't even think about what race she is, what color her skin. I would go out and pull her from that burning store if I had the chance. So it's like, that's why you shouldn't be racist to people, because you never know when you're going to need them. And what would Jesus do? I'm not religious, but what would Jesus do? You have to always did Jesus look at a certain race and say, nah, I can't help him because, he's black or he's, whatever. So nah, man, like seriously, ignorance is bliss, man. And, it's, you would think that now in the 21st century, we wouldn't have racism anymore, but dang, it's taught through generations. It gets ridiculous. I still watch all the old Lakers players. He said, Dan, do you think teams should be allowed to keep their challenge if it's a successful challenge? Sure, why not? If you can keep proving the referees wrong, then why should they, penalize you for that? I get you get to keep your timeout. I get that, but sometimes like there's a blatant bad call, and the coaches won't throw their challenge flag because obviously they want to save it for later. So refs get away with a lot of BS. I think refs should definitely there should at least be 2 to 3 challenges a game. I know it will slow it down, but the refs sometimes they're blind. I don't know how they got their job. My man said, no BS though. I always hated the hate between black and brown folks in LA. When I moved there, it threw me off because we love Hispanic folk in the South. Yeah, and sometimes it's just people being confused because where I grew up in Compton, everybody was just coexisting beautifully. Like I remember my neighbor, her name was Miss Rose. She'll give me money to go buy her cigarettes, and the Asian dude at the liquor store knew that they were for Miss Rose, so he would sell me the cigarettes. And I would go, deliver them. Then she'd give me $5. I'd turn around and go spend it on Pokemon cards or something, as a child. So it's like, you see, don't color, man. Everybody just coexisting beautifully in the hood. But yeah, I get it. There's some people that for some reason they're in gangs or whatever. And they, I don't know. I want to see our bench step up this game. I want to see everybody. I want to see our starting lineup step up this game because we've had our bench for about 2 to 3 games in the bubble doing good. But the starters other than LeBron and AD haven't stepped up. So I want to see JaVale. I want to see Caruso, who's starting today, and KCP all have good games, or at least 2 of the 3. Thoughts on Damian Lillard and the feud? Yes, I touched on it earlier in the video. Basically, look, man, this all confirms that Damian Lillard is who we thought he was. He's a G, and, he's Laker material for sure. Will it materialize? I don't know, but he's Laker material for sure. And I just love it, man, because he exposed the Clippers for being frauds. She said, if Danny Green doesn't show up in the finals, I will be disappointed. Absolutely, T. If Danny Green doesn't show up in any playoff series, I say trade him. Like, that's how I feel. And I don't like to talk trades. I like to give my guys the benefit of the doubt. But if he just disappears for a playoff series or 2, I say you got to do what you got to do. Dan, who do you think should ball out tonight? Me, I say Green. He needs to get back to it like he never left. Well, I'm sorry. I was confused by the question. Danny Green's not playing, brother. He's out today with a hip injury or minor hip injury or whatever. But, yeah, he's not playing today. Does the game start like right now? It is in 1 minute. So thank you for reminding me because I lose track talking to you guys, man. Always an interesting conversation. Love you guys. I'll definitely be here for post-game recap. So I'm going to get off so I can go get ready right now. Watch this Laker game. Hopefully we get the dub and we do it in an impressive fashion. Those are my 2 requirements for tonight. So let's get it, Laker Nation. Much love. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. Again, the usual, man. I truly appreciate it if you guys like, share, and subscribe. Thank you guys so much. I'll catch you guys right after. Keep it locked right here.